Hey, what's up? It's Passcode. I'm just here to talk about the whole Need for Speed Payback situation and things that I don't necessarily like. I could get some information wrong, but there is some concrete information, and that information that has ruined my entire anticipation of the game is that there is no online free roam. A lot of people say, oh, that's not that big a deal. I've always played it for the single player. And yes, I can say that in like Most Wanted Carbon days, I did play Need for Speed for the single player, but it's not those days anymore. And as Need for Speed continued to evolve, it became a game that was heavily dependent on multiplayer. Look at Most Wanted 2012, for example. In Most Wanted 2012, it was very reliant on multiplayer because single player was very lackluster. You didn't have to do any progression to get the cars, and that made it very lackluster for me. It was just like I was finding cars and racing them, and the only thing that was quote-unquote progression was getting upgrades for those cars, but that wasn't really that hard either. And nobody really liked it because there was a lot of ways of winning all the time. And I feel like the competitive form of multiplayer, where it was like only racing, was starting to be not as congruent to keeping online sustainable for a long time. And it all culminated in Rivals, where a lot of people hated it. A lot of people hated what the game was, hated everything about it. So Ghost was working on 2015, and I think they spun everything around and finally made a new form of multiplayer that people would love. And it was a always online, always with your friends. You can either race or you could just cruise around, and you had a choice. And that was fun for me. I have a uncommon opinion that I think 2015 was really good. I loved the customization. I loved making cars and showing it off to my friends. I loved every now and then doing races. I loved doing specific challenges with my friends. I loved doing specific races with my friends where we go and we're like, hey, we want to buy a new car, make it a drift car, and go do some drift events. Or we want to make a really grippy car and, you know, go out and do some street races or something like that, you know, things along the line of that. And I was very, very excited to the point of where I even said this on Twitter. And I was really excited for the game, but closer it got to release date, the more and more things started to be taken out of the game when they were previously advertised in the game, such as online free roam. And then when Gamescom came around is when they took out adjusting track width for tires and adjusting rake on your car, which I don't understand. Those things were in 2015. Why did you even have to take them out if you were just expanding on that game? But it clearly shows that you weren't, because the main premise of that game, which is what I thought, I may be a little bit in the wrong a little bit, but that's what I was under the impression. I thought Need for Speed 2015 was starting the new endeavors of Need for Speed. That was the type of game that Need for Speed was going to be on from here on out, because it would make the game's longevity a lot longer. And I guess that's just not what it is now. But all in all, I'm pretty disappointed that there isn't any free roam. And that's honestly gonna make me not buy the game. I don't find single player enough for me to spend $60 on the game, because I guarantee I will probably beat it within the day or the next day, within the first 2 days of release. I've seen people all over Reddit and Twitter saying that within, you know, it took them about 4 hours to do the 2 chapters. It's confirmed there's about 5 chapters in the story missions. So it would take me about 2 to 3 days estimated to beat the game, and then I have nothing else to do. I really don't care about the stupid billboard shit, and I wouldn't care about doing any of the cars and making any cars, because what is the use in making cars? What are AIs gonna tell you? Oh, fuck yeah, dude, your car's so fucking dope. No, nobody's gonna tell you that. The effects of it are pretty crazy. I saw on a Reddit post where somebody was talking about what the effects would be, and it makes a lot of sense. Like, the biggest one would be YouTube coverage of the game would be lacking because there's not enough to do after single player. And like, once all the cars are built and the story is done, like, what is the point of playing your game? Like, what about AR12 and Crowned and those people who do meetups in games? And what about car meetups? What about, there are communities on PlayStation where they like it's all about Need for Speed car meetups or Need for Speed, and this would be so much crazier because it could be Need for Speed off-road meetup, Need for Speed drag meetup, Need for Speed race meetup. Like, you have different classes, so it could be even more expansive, but that's not possible anymore. YouTuber fan meetups, car meetups in general, car meets, whatever you're trying to do, whether it be like crazy riced out cars or stealth cars or whatever you're going for. And if you wanted to do a meetup, you can't do that in Payback. And that was one of the cool things about Need for Speed 2015, was it had the ability to find new friends because of what their cars looked like. I found a friend on PlayStation from Need for Speed reposting his Lamborghini on their Twitter, and I hit him up on PlayStation and we played together in Need for Speed because I thought his Lamborghini looked really cool. So I hit him up and that's it. But, you know, I can't play with him. I can't play with people who have cool cars anymore. I have to do speed lists. And if I try to do the speed list free roam shit, I can't pick from like a drag car or anything like that. I can't pick outside of 2 classes. All we saw so far is race and off-road. I feel like the game just isn't something that I'm going to want to buy, and that's really sad because I had high hopes for the game. But yeah, that's just my take on the game. I want to see what you guys think. Tell me what you think in the comments. If you liked it, subscribe. Yeah, I've been Passcode. I'll talk to you guys later.